welcome back to my channel. I am finishing up my first cup of coffee, and we are going to today be talking about all of term 3, well, what I'm calling term 3 part 2. If you joined us for the first one, you know all the things we were diving into, the new things I created and all of that jazz. So we are continuing a lot of that. If you haven't watched it, I would suggest going back because I'll be referencing a few things from that video. So let's go ahead and get started with science. My oldest James will be continuing the Disappearing Spoon. These are their individual book studies. Our science chemistry that I came up with will be really hands-on, activity-based. We have had so much fun with it the first 3 weeks of term 2, and it really transformed our science. It was so dry and just not fun, and no one was enjoying it, and I'm just so glad that we are enjoying it now. So for the book studies, again, this is for my son James, The Disappearing Spoon. This is the Young Readers edition, and these are the corresponding activities. As you can see, because he started this at the beginning of term 3, so he's done 3. And I created all of this, including the cover, in Canva. I just took the activity prompts and just came up with little sheets, and I put them in a folder because none of us do well with just loose papers hanging around. And what will happen after we're done here is that the cover and all of these pages will then go into his science notebook from School Nest. Okay, now y'all will notice I am being all the way extra. Y'all see this matching bookmark? Okay, listen, is this required? Absolutely not. Am I doing the most for no reason? Absolutely. Is this a significant dose of dopamine that we all need in our family? 3000%. Moving on. For Jude, he will be doing Science Comics, the Periodic Table of Elements. Same thing, he also has a little matching bookmark. The bookmarks were also made in Canva. And this is literally, just as I said, it is a graphic novel. And it is all about the periodic table, and his activities and notebook are, not notebook, I am so sorry. His activities are in a folder as well. KWL chart, he's doing some mapping, timeline, and then anytime a scientist is brought up, we're gonna discuss it and put it in there. So the difference between the two is that he will be referencing all of these pages throughout the reading, while my oldest will be doing a reading and then one page. Okay, got it? All right, that is their individual science. Again, if you want to see more about our family science, go to the term 3 video, and I break that down a lot more. I'm trying to get back into posting regularly, and I realized the key to that is maybe not making them as long. So we are studying United States geography, well, North American geography, focusing on the United States and Canada, not Greenland, not Middle America, and not Mexico. There's a reason for that. I'll come back to it later. And we are visiting Boston. So we are going to be the second part of term 2, studying urban geography and all that comes with that. So, and it'll help us prepare for our trip as well. So this is what my oldest will be reading. He has really gotten into mysteries. He did 2 mysteries for the for our first terms for geography, and was all about it. So we are going to continue this, and I like it because when we're going, it references what things we will actually see and things that actually take place, i.e., the Boston Marathon, the Freedom Trail. And then we are going to be, excuse me, is going to be the locations and things that are brought in here. He is going to be using these maps to denote them. And again, as you can see, like this is very much like a city transit map, and it's much different than like a Google directional map, or maybe like a map of an amusement park or something like that. And again, I think this would be really, really good practice for not only this trip we have coming up, but just for any time, other time we visit like very, very urban, densely populated and activity-based cities like a Boston or a New York or something like that. I do not have Jude's geography book. It's at the library. Funny story, the book I I plan to use for him, for some reason the library was like, oh, actually no, you can't reserve that. I couldn't figure it out. And I was able to pivot to not only continue studying urban geography, but really focus it on something that my youngest really, really, really enjoys, and that is nature. And so his two books, his two books were from the library, and they are going to discuss about basically urban wildlife and how they survive in all of those things. So this is his map. So some of his activities are finding, green spaces or places where animals would thrive, researching. So like maybe like the Charles River Basin, we would then research the wildlife in that area, habitats, food webs, things like that. And he will put these items in when when James is done with these, well, actually, when he starts, he'll put them in his geography notebook and just continue to work back and forth on them in there. And then Jude will do the same. Our geography notebooks are also from, you guessed that, School Nest. School Nest. I am actually going to go to history right now because literature, as always, is the longest and it's going to take a bit. Okay. We are studying American history, and for terms 1 and 2, we did a heavy focus on indigenous peoples, all about them, their contributions. We went deep. And so it was important to me that my kids had just a really, really, really solid foundation, that the peoples that were here pre-colonization were not in need of a savior, were not desolate or savage, like really, really instilling the truth against all of those false narratives that are perpetuated. So now that we are starting, this will be what my oldest will be reading, and this will go through the end of term 4. Okay, so when you see like term 4, you're gonna see this again. And Charles Mann, this is again 1493. This is the young people edition. And he provides a world view of history, if you will. And I think that is just so important. And I really like the way the book is organized, written, and even the images are just really thought-provoking, if you will. You know what I mean? Not so much that they don't depict the text, but they're just, I'm very much looking forward to going through this with my son. So his activities well, really, I want him to learn to start bridging the gap, if you will. The way his little neurodiverse mind is kind of works is like kind of everything has place, you know, everything is in a box. And I want him to understand, especially where things like history is concerned, that there are a lot of connecting points. So while something may have been happening over here in North America, there were things that were happening over here in Africa, or things that were happening over here in Asia, and it all was happening at the same time. So he is going to be working on connecting those dots through these readings, not just kind of understanding what was happening from place to place to place, but really working the critical thinking and analyzing skills, bridging that gap and bringing it all together. For my youngest, this will primarily be his. And again, if you're having any questions about what we're using for history, go back and watch the other video and you'll see the because history is a family subject, so you'll see that we'll be using some picture books and some other spines for our, you know, family subject of history. This will, I'm sorry, I got Latino history, y'all. This is not the right book. It is Native American history. It's very similar to this one, but the Kids Guide to Native American History will be Jude's primary spine. And then what I did for the activities was that I only did lessons 1 through 4, and I just went through what the activities were, gathered up all of the supplies, and so I just put the items for those in here. And so when it's time for lesson 3 activities, we can just grab the pouch, open it up. Like I know this is like the mosaic tile, so this is all the supplies for the mosaic artwork. And I just did this for lessons 1 through 4. I really like it so far. We will see how it works. Okay, so now to literature, which is like one of my favorite things. And literature is in 2 parts for us. If you haven't already told, we use books for so much. So my their individual literature book studies, we are entering the dystopian genre. Okay, so my oldest will be reading The Giver. Yes, as a matter of fact, I did make another matching bookmark. Shh. Okay, this is a no judgment zone. All right. So he'll be reading this. We will have discussion, questions, thoughts, all of that stuff, and then learning about like the dystopian genre in general. This will be his, well, both of their first time reading and jumping into anything like that. And then this will be Jude's. Again, this is a graphic novel, but as you can see, it's a pretty big one. Okay. My youngest is improving so much better with his reading, and so while we'll be going through this together, I know that there will be a lot of words that he will be able to like read by himself here. So this is his literature read aloud. And then as a family, this is our family read aloud, Pages & Co., The Lost Fairy Tales. So this is the second book in this series. We did read the first book on audio. Man, Anna James, she's on to something. Okay, so this book I am just stoked and super excited about, and what we are going to do. Okay, so as we are reading this, the fairy tales or fairy tale characters, okay, that are mentioned, we will then compare them to the original Grimm brothers. And I also have the illustrated version of this on hold, at the library. And then we are also going to compare it to the similar telling from around the world. I have studied this book before. It is beautifully illustrated. And when I say around the world, baby, around the whole world. And with that, we are going to be studying the literary elements of fairy tales, fables, folklore, and folk tales. And these are just books that we have. And again, I've studied this with other students before. So we will just be having a time, okay? Just reading, flying through, comparing, and, of course, analyzing the literary elements in this while enjoying the, adventure of this fiction tale. I'm super, super, super excited about that. I think I said in the other video, if I didn't, my youngest has been loving these Wonder Books. It's kind of a book that like reads to you, or you can read along with it. So this I thought was so funny, which I think he would like, is that when these fairy tales come up, these are kind of like silly versions, okay, of them, if you will, right? So Chicken Licken, the really ugly duckling, you see his funny title page, like, it's just, look at this, it's just funny, okay? I don't know another way to say it, and I just think it'll be a nice, like, you guys see this here for contents and how it's just like everywhere. The Boy Who Cried Cow Patty. And then my oldest, he is like a true bibliophile, and I may have to cut him off on this. He is famous for just like getting into a book and like reading. And so if he's supposed to read chapters like 1 through 3, he'll be like, oh, I read up to chapter 7. If that happens, if he needs something else, another book I have on hold at the library is the Who Were the Grimm Brothers, just for him to have some understanding on who they were, why and how these tales came about, and then also, again, just that really global and BIPOC and ethnic understanding of all of these things. For all of our other subjects, everything's going to remain the same. We are going to continue math with Math UC. At the beginning of term 3, we started reincorporating Singapore math back in on Thursdays. And they will continue doing Beast Academy as like a fun supplement. The spelling that my son came up with, it's going really, really well, so we will continue that. Our language arts, it's not changing. I just added one other thing for my youngest son, and I will show you and I'll tell you why. Okay, I just wanted to make sure y'all saw the actual what we are using. We will get to the Latino history. Y'all know I love a good thrift books, and your girl had rewards, so I just bought a lot of stuff. Anyway, this is what will be primarily Jude Spine for history. Okay, back to language arts. So I compiled this, again, cover made in Canva, from other things that I had purchased before I decided to stop supporting this person. If y'all can look at it, I can tell who it is. You can make your own decisions. But since 2020, this person has not once gotten a red cent from me. And I came up with this because, as I said before, he is progressing so much in his reading. He's doing really, really great with All About Reading, love, love, love that program. And to supplement that, I purchased a phonics workbook, and I thought it was going to be great. You're going to love it. And I realized quite quickly, it's just okay. And it's not the vibe. It's not the vibe. So what I did, again, with the things I purchased, I just reprinted them out. I bound them, and this is a lot of like sight words, things like that, but it is to help with grammar here. So this is all grammar, and then you see the color page is the divider, and then it's the I can read simple stories. So we're working on reading, but then we have some comprehension here as well. And because in the state where I live, you have to test annually, and this will be his first year testing, I also thought this would be really good practice with that. And then there is more comprehension and then sequencing. So I love that there is like reading hands-on, and it's not all handwriting. And so I also needed something that I felt confident that he could do well independently when I needed to work with his brother. And I believe this will do it. Stay tuned for more, and I will keep you posted. But hopefully, this is the ticket here, guys. All right, y'all have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.